Hey guys, welcome to the thekindflux. So today we are going to the International Antarctic Centre in Christchurch, and we will be riding these vehicles and doing some fun stuff inside. And I will try to make a good video of it, but it's not possible because it's not allowed everywhere to shoot a video. But let's see how good it's gonna be. So that's the Antarctic ride.
Now you both feel like those close to where we go. In fact, having one of the reasonably high rules back to my way to go up and make money. You can't do either of those. The idea is there's quite a problem. Very fine, and all the things that together. Now, got my business ball, snowball, get fail and get caught. You talk about being a man now. Keep it needed time. You know, very slow. Yeah, if I look down, I can see that final obstacle. Let's see that rock out. Now we're going to hit down the hill and cross that rock out. Now this is the last opportunity to make a bit of noise and a little bit of screaming, so take advantage of it. Here we go. Everybody hold on tight. Down the hill. Now we're going to cross that rock car. The other rather bubbly, so we're going to cross it slowly. And as we do cross it, we're going to, it's not water. It's rock. Now we can float. I'm not going to close the bubble. Now we'd like to mind everyone to do their swimming things and stuff, right? That's where it's like. Yeah, that's close to the bed. You keep going straight. We're going to answer the last question. And do what?
telling you a bit about them as I do. Just as we're getting started, we do have a couple of house rules. Number one, we do ask that everyone is nice and quiet during the feed today, especially for up the top, because sometimes our penguins get a little bit startled by loud noises and don't always come out for their dinner. And for the same reason, we do ask that everyone make sure that their flash is turned off today, as sometimes the bright light can give our penguins a little bit of a spook. So here at the Antarctic Centre, we are home to 16 kurora, or little penguins. Little penguins are the smallest penguins in the world. They only stand about 30 centimetres tall, and they weigh about 1 kilo on average. If we were to compare them to the largest penguins on Earth, the emperors down in Antarctica, they stand about 110 centimetres tall, and they weigh about 36 kilos, so quite a big difference in size. We have two different varieties of little penguin living with us. We have the little blue penguins, sometimes also known as fairy penguins, and we also have white flipper penguins. So they're both varieties of little penguin. The white flipper penguins are the more common of the two. They can be found all around coastlines of New Zealand as well as southern Australia. Whereas the white flipper penguins are endemic to the Canterbury region, which means that this is the only place that you will find them. The way that we can tell the difference between our two types of penguins is by their flippers. Little blue penguins will only have one white stripe that runs down the back of their flipper. So for those of you down the bottom who've probably got the best view, you will be able to see some of the penguins in the pool that just have a single little white stripe down the back. They are the little blues. Whereas the penguins that have two stripes, one down the front and one down the back, they are the white flipper penguins. White flipper penguins sometimes are a little bit larger, and can be a little bit more grey in colour as well. So all 16, oopsies, sorry brothers, all 16 of the little penguins that live here with us are all rescued penguins. They all have a different injury, disability or something going on that means that they wouldn't be able to survive on their own out in the wild. Each of them have a different injury, disability or something going on that means that they wouldn't be able to survive. There might be things like a damaged beak, fractured flippers, broken ankles, fractured flippers, missing eyes. We even have a penguin who is afraid of water. So not all of them are physical injuries. There are all sorts of reasons that we might be there forever home. So if you would like to see penguins out in the wild, you can spot them in many places around New Zealand. There is an awesome colony down in Oamaru, which is one of the largest here in New Zealand. But we also have a local one over on the Banks Peninsula called Tahatu Penguins, where you can go and visit the penguins when they are coming into land at the end of a long day swimming. Little penguins spend most of their lives out at sea, and almost all of the time that they spend on land will be at night time, so it is very hard for us to spot them. At the end of a long day fishing though, little penguins will start heading home, and they will, instead of coming straight onto land, form a group in the water. And this group of penguins is called a penguin raft. That raft of penguins will then come onto shore together. And the reason they do it this way is because there is safety in numbers from some of their predators. They're trying to avoid things like seals, sharks and orca whales out in the water. There's a large native bird called the giant petrel, which can be a threat from the skies, as well as some other large gulls. And little penguins also face a lot of introduced predators here in New Zealand. Those are animals like our furry friends, cats and dogs, as well as stoats, possums, ferrets, rats, and even hedgehogs who have been known to eat penguin eggs. Those are enough dangers for our little penguins. They also have to worry about some human activities as well. Things like overfishing of the waters where they live. Little penguins can be hit by boats and cars, tangled up in fishing lines and fishing nets. There are all sorts of dangers out there for these little ones. And this means that dogs can find them in their burrows. So there she goes. Thank you for being nice and quiet, everyone. Hopefully we'll get her a few fish into Miley. Sometimes if it's a bit noisy, she won't always stay around to have her food. As you can see, she might run back and forth like this a few times during our feed. If Miley doesn't manage to get enough food over here, we will go and give her some breakfast in bed at the end of the day. So little penguins have two major events in the penguin calendar. The first one being breeding season, and the second one is molting season. And that is exactly what's happening to this penguin here. So don't worry, he's not sick. That's not why his feathers look funny. It's because he's going through his annual molt. Once a year during summer, little penguins will shed all 10,000 feathers on their body, and they will grow a brand new coat, 10,000 new ones. This process takes about 2 to 3 weeks to do. And while they're changing those feathers over, little penguins are not able to go out to sea to get food because they rely on their protective coat to keep them nice and warm while they're out at sea. Their feathers are very dense. They've got about 10,000 feathers, which is 3 or 4 times more than most other birds. And they're interlocking, so that helps to keep some of the water out on its own. But they'll also apply a layer of oil to their top coat of feathers, and this will help to prevent the water from being able to seep down into their layer of down feathers. So little penguins will spend about 3 hours a day getting oil from a gland just down by their tail, dipping their beak into that gland, and then spreading that oil all over their feathers to ensure they stay waterproof. But of course, if you don't have a full coat of feathers to make waterproof, then you might get hypothermia or pneumonia out in the ocean. So it's really important that they stay on land.
ਆਪਾਂ ਸਹਿ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੈ ਗਰਮੀ ਵਾਲਾ ਸ਼ਰੀਰ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੀ ਕਰੀਏ